And return to our roots we shall this morning. We are jumping into the kitchen because we are joined today by Caro de Waal, foodie artist and century food designer. Now, she specializes in edible art installations and she's the driving force behind the much anticipated Roots exhibition, which debuts this evening. Caro, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure.
Lovely to have you. Interesting topic, roots as well. But before we get to that, let's talk about your relationship, your journey when it comes to food and the relationship with it to art.
Well, I've kind of come full circle. I started in the art and design world when I first started studying and spent a few years there. And then I went into food, did my cordon bleu, became a chef, did some catering and all of that. And then I did food media for a while. And then I just needed a creative outlet. I needed to do it. It was just kind of coming out. And I started this company, Eat Design, which now comes full circle using all the things I've learned.
Well, it's two things that you really enjoy, art and food, and it's only natural that the two fuse together at the end of the day. But let's talk about the exhibition, Roots. Rather exciting and interesting as well. What is the idea behind it? What do you want people to take away from this specific exhibition?
Well, I think there's two parts. I think number one is this new exhibition space. It's called Sparsy Upstairs. It's a really new, lovely art space. But when I first went there with Greg, who's the driving force behind Sparsy, we had a look at it, and the Roots thing, which had been cooking in my mind for a while, I saw these beautiful cross beams in the ceiling. And I was like, okay, that's it, we're going to do it here. And Roots, what it means to me and how I've fused it with food is, number one, you've got your roots where you live. Where do you put your root down? You're African, right? And that's how I feel. I feel very African, and my roots are here. For Greg, he's also part of the exhibition, he's an expat American, but he's put his root down here as well.
Okay.
So that's how that came about. But then, of course, from the foodie perspective, I've got the edible carrots, beetroot, radish, all those wonderful things. So we fused them together in an exhibition using different mediums: installation art, photography, film, illustration, the food, of course, which is very artistic and thought well through, and then drinks. So a lot of mixology as well.
All right. Well, it definitely sounds like a fun event, and we can't wait to get a bit of a taster what you're going to be doing for us a little bit later on. But you know what? In many plants, it is the root tip or the radical that searches the ground for sustenance and balance, like Caro said as well. And it was Charles Darwin, actually, who first coined this concept, the concept of the root brain in his book. Now, the power of movement, and that's what it's called, of plants. Now, maybe it is no coincidence that much of our waking lives are informed by our past experiences and our own roots as well. Now, Roots will be on display at Upstairs on Bree Street in Cape Town this evening, and after the break, we'll see more from Caro and her food creations. But lots more to expect on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Here's the team.